So Universal's not afraid to have an arch. I'm in Orlando, Florida today at Universal Studios, Florida, and straight ahead is what remains of the old Nickelodeon studios. And now, since Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket has been completely destroyed, we get a clear view of the once Nickelodeon studios here at Universal Studios, Florida. And today we're going to travel back in time, show some photos, see what's going on current day, and see what all you can see now that it's not being blocked by a gigantic roller coaster. This is going to be a fun one. Now, let's take a closer look. Now, June 7th, 1990, Nickelodeon Studios opened its gates here at the Universal Studios, Florida, that also opened on the same day. Now, Nickelodeon was a different thing. It was the #1 TV station for kids back when television was in its heyday. And you could tune in at any time of the day and you could watch anything being shown on Nickelodeon. Now, what they filmed for Nickelodeon was all done right over here behind me at the Nickelodeon Studios. They did live game shows. They had like things for kids that were kind of geared towards the younger audience, but mom and dad could also watch with the kids and have fun, like Double Dare and other game shows like that. They also started introducing some live TV shows that were actual series. Later on in the 90s, you would have such titles as Clarissa Explains It All, Keenan and Kel, all that, which was basically Saturday Night Live for kids. I watched too much Nickelodeon. I was a Nick kid. Nickelodeon. I still remember every bumper. I loved Salute Your Shorts. I loved Pete and Pete. I loved Clarissa Explains It All. I loved Double Dare. I love Family Double Dare. I love Double Dare 2000. I love Legends of the Hidden Temple. I loved Guts. I loved Global Guts. Dude, there was so much on Nickelodeon. Snick, Saturday Night Nick. You would tune in on Saturday nights and watch new episodes, and I loved the Halloween versions of those. But Nickelodeon debuted, like I was saying, June 7th, 1990. And to get kids to kind of understand what it was, they did a 3-hour broadcast. That's pretty cool. I'm looking at the article right now. It's live from Universal Studios on June 7th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The only network for kids. It will broadcast live. They will get a first look inside the studio, and they will get a behind-the-scenes first look at shows to be taped there. In addition, we will show previews of attractions that will be at the Universal Studios, Florida. And they did. They went in, they showed stuff like Horror Makeup Show. They showed things like E.T. They showed a lot of attractions. They had guys skateboarding in the park. They had a lot of stuff, and we will one day cover that here on the World of Micah. But I just remember the studio so much because at the very end of everything they filmed here, they would say, for instance, all that was recorded in front of a live studio audience at Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studios, Florida. And right across the way, right there, is sort of where they shot this. That was where the globe used to be, right over here. And since they moved that globe to Universal Studios Hollywood, every time I go to Hollywood, I think of the original Universal Studios globe. It was also used in the opening credits of Keenan and Kel. But straight ahead is the former home of the Nickelodeon Studios. Then it turned into Blue Man Group, which is why it's blue on the main studio to the side there. But to the left, I'm going to insert a photo just in case we cannot get up on the second level of the Hard Rock Cafe, which is what I'm going to try to do. But there's so much construction going on over there, I don't know if we're going to get over there. But straight ahead, you can see this is what Nickelodeon Studios looked like. We're going to get some closer looks. But I wanted to give you guys a little backstory of what Nickelodeon was, just to refresh your memory. But if you're watching this, you're an 80s and 90s kid like myself, or you're just a big kid like myself. Either way, thanks for watching this episode. Let's head over to the studio. It's so funny, so many families come here in the mornings to take photos of the globe and the studio arch there. I remember as a kid walking over right here distinctly and looking over and seeing Nickelodeon Studios right there. And my dad said, "What do you want to do first?" And I pointed and said, "That." I didn't care about anything inside the theme park. I mean, I did, but I just wanted to see that building up close. I wanted to go inside Nickelodeon Studios, and I did. All right, so if you go through the exit right here of the studios, straight ahead, this is where you would walk to get to Nickelodeon. And I'm not sure what all we're gonna be able to see, because as you see, they have walls and they are digging away, removing Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket completely. And this wall is way too big for us to see over. So you continue down to the Hard Rock over here and we should be able to see some stuff. But I was just curious if these walls were that tall over here. And I love that you can still get through City Walk even though they're doing construction, because you got to remember Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket went out of the theme park and back in. All right, heading up to the Hard Rock Cafe now. I've mentioned this in a video long ago. I actually think I did a whole episode on this, but this is a gigantic guitar you're standing on when you walk up here. The body of the guitar and the neck that the guitar continue here, but let's walk over and see what we can see. Yeah, wow, this is kind of crazy. They've got walls up here, but I believe you can still walk down here enough. Yeah, you totally can. There's Nick. All right, let's see. Yep, this is great. Just walk down here and you can see Nickelodeon Studios. Let's head over here. Let's see. That's great. They left it to where you can still see Nick. Oh, this is perfect. All right. Welcome back to Nickelodeon Studios, everybody. Here it is. I love that we can still walk back here. That's so great. Thanks, Universal. But yeah, there's Nickelodeon. You might remember this. Man, you can see everything they were advertising. Gas, the Nickelodeon Teen Choice Awards in this photo. And then right here, this is what I remember, what I'll always remember of Nickelodeon right there. Isn't that cool? Man, that orange and the pink and the zebra and the spots and everything. It's kind of incredible. I do miss it a lot. I remember like going in and you would be greeted by someone. They would take you into the studio. They would show you how they made slime and gack and everything, and you could actually taste the slime when you were in there. Then you went up some elevators. You saw all kinds of sound stages, saw whatever they were filming at the time. It was so cool. I love that studio tour. I love that you could go in and do it several times. You didn't have to take the full tour, but you could just walk around and hang out in the studios. And we did that a lot. It's very windy out here, but I love that they have this completely open for anybody just to walk over here and still see Nickelodeon. Now, sadly, April 30th, 2005, they closed Nickelodeon, and thank God they didn't do what they did to Rip Ride Rocket over here and level it, because this building is here to stay as far as I know. They use this for so many things, and it's connected to a soundstage over here, stage 19. This was all Blue Man Group at one point, but before that, they utilized this for Nickelodeon. Blue Man Group still use it for Grinchmas, still use it for Halloween Horror Nights and other events in here. It's crazy. At one point they were doing wrestling and stuff in here as well, which I thought was super cool. But yeah, thank God this guy didn't come in and just destroy Nickelodeon. I think they were smart, and I think they also kind of couldn't do it with the way the building's laid out with the sound stages. This is very interesting too. Next to Nickelodeon is a piece of the Berlin Wall, November 9th, 1989. Literally a day and a year after I was born. Isn't that crazy? And you have the entrance to CBGB over here for Hard Rock. And if you get on this level here, you can get some iconic shots of Nickelodeon. A lot of construction workers going in. It's the one thing that I was really appreciative was walking over here and seeing that was open. Man, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket kind of blocked Nickelodeon a good bit I didn't realize how much, you know, that real estate that coaster took until you walk over there now and see how much open Nick is, especially from City Walk. Now, I have no idea what we will be able to see from the park, but I'm gonna pop in to the park and go over to where the entrance used to be. Now, from what I know, the geysers and everything from Slime Time Live and that whole area, they're like uprooting that from the construction and everything. So there's probably nothing left of the original pavement down there. And with this whole construction happening and them basically uprooting the ground down there, thank God they moved the original time capsule, right? Because that would have been gone now as well. All right, let's walk into the park. This is kind of silly, I know, but I felt weird not walking through the arch going into Universal. So let's head inside the park and see what we can see from the side entrance that you could go to Nickelodeon from back in the day. And see what we can see from up there. Because I have no idea what it currently looks like with the construction, because Hollywood Rip-Ride Rocket was literally gone within a few days. Before we head over there, I'll show you this. This is the Studio Audience Center. This is where you used to be able to buy your ticket for whatever they were filming here, taping here at Universal Studios, Florida. And this is where I remember coming up with my dad and asking if they had any more tapes for, I believe it was Figure It Out at one point when we came. And they were sold out. And they were sold out for Slime Time Live, but they told us we could watch it from afar. And as you see, they still have some remnants of things they used to film here. There's Ellen DeGeneres right there. And there's when they were filming Sharknado 3. I did that location of that. Here's some other films they shot here. Bring It On 4. Sharknado 3 here. Oh man, Hollywood Rip-Ride Rocket stuff too. That's crazy to see. Yeah, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective Jr. The Beethoven movie was filmed here. So much. Nothing of Nickelodeon here on the walls though, on the past productions. But now, it's lost and found. Now I rode the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera, but I never rode the Jimmy Neutron ride when this was Jimmy Neutron. So yeah, back in the day, you used to walk over here, and this is how you could also get to Nickelodeon Studios. My brother and I have a photo of ourselves right here, the side entrance. Now, wish I was coming to Horror Nights tonight. I went to Horror Nights already. I did the whole thing in one night. We had a really good express pass, and we got through with every house the night we went. It was awesome. But they moved this wall right here for Horror Nights, so you can walk through there when they're not jarring away at Hollywood Rip-Ride Rock. So yeah, during the day, no. Halloween Horror Nights at night, you can walk over and see Nickelodeon Studios and use the bathroom because there's still slime on the ground. This is the best. Man, look at that. You can still see the sound stages so clearly over here without Hollywood Rip-Ride Rocket. It reminds me of back in the day, which is why I wanted to walk over here. I wanted to show you the old Studio Audience Center, and you can see the sign and more of the sound stages over here without the blocking of the tracks of Hollywood Rip-Ride Rocket. Wow, that's so cool. You can see straight ahead at stage 22 pretty clearly without the track of Hollywood Rip-Ride Rocket right there. This is how it looked like when I was a kid. You would walk straight ahead. Man, I bet it looks awesome doing Horror Nights right now because there's no more track. That was the thing when you walked under the loop right there and went into the sound stages for Horror Nights. None of that is a thing anymore. That'll be interesting for next year's Horror Nights. Man, I love it when you're here and you can see the big sound stages that they built their attractions in. I love this place. Well, who knows what the future is for this area. I'm looking forward to seeing all the changes, and I'm super excited to say that Nickelodeon Studios is in good shape, at least the building. What a fun day. I will see you guys on the next episode. Until then, stay weird. Goodbye. This episode of World of Micah was pre-recorded at Nickelodeon Studios at Universal Studios, Florida.